Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily create ruched style dresses in Clo 3D. Ruched style is a type of garment design where fabric is gathered or pleated in a way that creates a textured bunched effect. This technique is often used to add dimension, shape, or a slimming effect to clothing. In this tutorial, I will show you 3 dress examples. So, let's get it started. In 3D window, I have uploaded a dress block. Before adding ruching, I will create the dress style first. For this demonstration, I will make an off-the-shoulder ruched mini dress. To make off the shoulder, I will add a point to front and back armhole to determine where the off-the-shoulder will start. Use internal polygon tool to draw a line from armhole toward the center. Right-click and choose Cut and Sew. Apply a new material with 0 opacity to the upper cut pieces. Next, I will add length to front and back pattern to be able to gather the side seams to create ruching. In the old days when I was still making pattern manually, I will have to slash and cut the pattern into many pieces. Add extension to each one and reconnect all of them back together. In Clo 3D, it's pretty simple. Select Fullness Line from 2D window toolbar. Click a start and end point to select first segment. Then repeat the same to select the second segment line to bring out fullness window. Choose both direction. Enter your preference amount in fullness and slash distance moved and click OK. Move the piece away from avatar in 3D window and simulate. Adjust the ruching to the look you want. Repeat the same steps to add ruching on the back bodices. Simulate and adjust the ruching. Personally, I like to add ruching to one pattern at the time. Like this example, I add ruching to the front bodice first. So when I simulate the garment, it will gather the front side seams to match the back bodice side seam. You can definitely add fullness to both front and back panels first. However, after simulate the garment, you will need to gather the side seams by turning on elastic function in Property Editor. To me, it takes longer to adjust it. Either way, you can still get the same result. To make the ruching look nice, it's better to use a softer fabric. Also remember to lower the particle distance to let it drape nicely. For this example, because both front and back bodice are gathered on the side seams, it can grow longer after adding ruching effect. To fix this issue, you can select side seams from the pattern. Go to Property Editor, turn on elastic function and set ratio at 100. Or you can enter the amount in segment length if you know the exact measurement for the seam. Click Simulate and readjust the garment in 3D window. This dress is almost done. I just need to add a band around the shoulder to complete the look. And here is the final render. By the way, the transparent pieces are used to help you keep the garment in place when making patterns or animation. Remember to delete them if you are going to use the pattern to make sample or production. For the next demonstration, I'm going to make a single shoulder dress with front and back ruching panels. First, I will create the dress silhouette. Now that the dress design is done, I can start adding ruching. In the previous example, it's a single layer ruched style. When you wear this in real life, the look of the ruching will change slightly according to the body shape. This time, instead of adding fullness directly to the pieces, I am going to add a new layer on top of the pattern. Select left front bodice pattern. Right-click and choose Layer Clone Over. Select the new duplicated layer. Right-click and remove linked editing. I like to have ruching on the princess seam only, so the fullness needs to be added to this segment. In 2D toolbar, I can choose either fullness point or fullness line. Both function will be able to achieve the goal. If I choose fullness point, first I will add same amount of points on both princess seam and side seam. Use fullness point function. Draw a line from first side seam point to the matching point on princess seam. Click one side of the pattern and slide open. At the same time, right-click to bring out spread window. Enter the amount I want to add the fullness and click OK. Repeat the same on each set of the points. Once it's done, use Smooth Curve tool to reshape the seam to a smooth curve line. Right-click and choose Superimpose Over. Move the pattern out a little bit and click Simulate. And there, I have added the ruching to the front princess seam. Lower particle distance to let the ruching drape nicer. Since there's an under layer for this panel, I can adjust the look of the ruching without changing the fit of the garment. When I increase the width on the ruched panel, the ruching will drape more. If you want to have a more straight-looking ruching, you can decrease the width of the panel. To remove all the slash lines, use Trace tool to select them and hit Delete key. Also, you can turn on shirring effect and apply puckering to this segment line to get a more realistic look. Even though I can use fullness point tool to add ruching for this design, using fullness line will be the faster way in this case. After layer clone the piece, I will add point on the seam to indicate where the ruching will start and finish. Use fullness line. Select side seam for the fullness line. Then select princess seam as /line. In the fullness window, enter the amount under /line distance moved and click OK. Reposition this piece in 3D window and simulate. The ruching has been created with just few steps. For the back panel, I will repeat the same steps to add ruching. Now I have added ruching to both front and back bodice. It's time to finish the design by adding more details. Here is the render result. After watching the two demonstrations, I am sure you have a pretty good idea of how to create ruching style in Clo 3D. For the last example, I will quickly go through the steps again. The third dress, I am going to make an evening gown with ruching center panel. First, I will finish the base dress design and simulate on the avatar. Dress fits pretty good with no issues, so I can move on to the next step. Select Center Front Panel. Right-click and choose Layer Clone Over. Right-click the new layer and remove linked editing. For this panel, I will add fullness to both princess seams. Choose Fullness Line from 2D Window toolbar. Click Start and End Point to select first segment line. Repeat the same to select second segment line. Choose both direction in Fullness window. Enter the distance moved amount in both Fullness and /line and click OK. Move this piece away from Avatar in 3D window. Right-click and choose Superimpose Over. Click Simulate. Adjust the ruching panel to your desired look. You can add more fullness or increase the width. Lower particle distance to 10 to let it drape nicely. Continue to adjust the ruched panel until you are happy with how it looks. By the way, I used knit fabric on all 3 dresses in this tutorial. Because it's soft and stretchy, it will create a nicer ruching. I am also going to add ruching to the neckband. It didn't drape the way I want, so I had to add internal lines within the pattern, and turn on elastic function to shear the panel a little bit to get the look I want. Once it's finished, lower particle distance again to 5 or 6. Simulate the garment and let the ruching panel drape until it stops moving. Now I am done with the ruching. I can start adding color and texture to the dress and style the avatar for rendering. Here is the final render, and I think it turned out pretty nice. Ruching technique is probably one of the best and easiest way to add an interesting, dynamic element to your garment. For the last dress demonstration, it only took me less than 40 minutes from start to finish rendering. I hope this tutorial will inspire you to create more interesting styles. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.